Hello, it is Monday, November 10th, 2025. Back here for another daily shake-up. Time to shake up our thinking about leadership, about life, relationships, about everything and everyone around us. And especially now, it just seems like such an important time to really shake things up, both in our personal lives and certainly in our leadership and the way we empower ourselves and empower those people around us. Today, I want to talk about overthinking. In fact, not just overthinking, but the act of thinking and how it can be a trap. So often, I used to do it myself, and occasionally I stumble and trip into it, the same behavior. But I hear so many people, my clients, my friends saying things like, I need to think about this. I need to think more about that. And it can be a trap. You see, here's the thing about thinking. Thinking means I'm going up here, right? I'm going to think about things. I'm going to intellectualize it. I'm going to process it. I'm going to do things like risk assessment. But the problem with thinking about it, it can easily become overthinking about it and procrastination and avoidance and risk avoidance, which is driven by fear. And it's very natural that would happen, but we don't realize how natural it is because our fears, our hesitation, our doubts, our concerns, all of those things exist in our heads. So when we say, or you say, or I say, I got to think about it, what we're saying is, I'm going to take this scenario, this information, this opportunity, I'm going to put it in the part of me that is afraid, especially those parts that, if you look at the way the brain works, we've got that reptilian brain that responds and is risk averse and fear and stop and don't take the risk and play it safe. But if we can't get to the more complex part of our brain where we can move past those fears, which is where we want to do our thinking, when we're feeding the scenario, those information, those opportunities into our head, we're often feeding it into the fear. So here's what I want to invite you to do more of: less thinking and more listening. Listening. And I mean listening, not just hearing words or the words of others or even yourself, because that self-talk can awfully that self-talk is often limiting and self-limiting. But what's going on around us? What are you feeling? What's your sensations? What's your intuition saying? Because the intuition is more about listening to the intuition. Recently, a friend of mine who believes very much in listening to what the signs and the signals and the messages are made a comment that they had spent a lot of time thinking about something. And I teased them and I said, well, you had three or four or five or 10 signs that this is the direction to go in, but yet you had to go think about it to satisfy some logical part of yourself. And here's what I want to offer. If you feel compelled to be logical about a decision, then is it perhaps that you're driven by fear? You want to find a logical explanation because you don't trust your intuition. So think about it, pun intended, and instead of doing thinking, let's do more listening. Let's go trust ourselves. What are we sensing around us? What things are happening that signal to us that this is the direction? And why don't we just take a few steps in that direction, see what happens, reassess? We don't have to decide everything all at once. But that's a whole nother daily shake-up topic. The need to figure it all at once. So for today, yes, think about it, but let's not lean too much into thinking and lean even more into listening to what's going on and what we're sensing and feeling about a decision more than often the fear-based risk aversion thinking about it. That's it. Love to hear your thoughts on my thoughts. Give us a like, a share, comment. Let's spread the conversation so we can enhance leadership, grow more leaderships, and grow our impact in our local area, in our business, and in the world.